tenacity, ambition, purpose. Here, it's not just what we do, it's how we do it.
Just ahead on this week's UB Football Insider, head coach Lance Leipold gets you ready for kickoff with the Northern Illinois Huskies. We'll take our trip around the MAC. You'll meet the leader of the Bulls' defensive line, and we'll all feel the madness from the start of the basketball season. It's UB Football Insider, and it begins right now. Shotgun snap to Tyree, fake the handoff, throw it into the end zone. Schreck has got it. It's a Buffalo touchdown. Neal to throw, pressured again, hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. Field roll, Tyree to the left. He throws, it's caught. It's a Buffalo touchdown.
1, 2, 1, 2.
And we welcome in Bulls head coach Lance Leipold to get everybody ready for today's kickoff between the Bulls and the Northern Illinois Huskies. And Lance, the Huskies have been the jewel of the Mid-American Conference. They've won 6 straight MAC West titles. And maybe it's because of that when you glance at where their season is at right now with a 1-6 record, it raises some eyebrows.
Yeah, it's been probably a disappointing start for them, but again, this is a program that has a lot of proud history. They built a consistent winner. It's really been a blueprint that many of us have tried to follow. So again, they're going to be a team that's going to try to put themselves right back on track.
Some difficult losses, and they've played some of the best teams in the Mid-American Conference, and having lost to Central Michigan and Western Michigan. You've mentioned 3 overtime games, so some of those circumstances have had more to do with it.
Yeah, I think when you really look at where that schedule probably was set up a long time ago, how it played out to be to go to a Wyoming for a night game, playing a ranked at the time San Diego State team, a very good South Florida team in Tampa, and then 2 of the better teams in their division besides themselves in Toledo right away in conference play has really made it a tough road, along with some of the injuries they have suffered.
The head coach of the Northern Illinois Huskies is Rod Carey. You guys go back a long way. When you've coached at Whitewater in Wisconsin, he coached at Wisconsin Stout. So you guys come from a little bit of the same DNA, don't you?
Yeah, we have a lot of, I guess, mutual friends in the business, as well as backgrounds of where we coached. Besides in Wisconsin, he coached at North Dakota, at times same conferences, Nebraska, Omaha, very competitive Division II conference at the time. So we know a lot of the same people. There's members on their staff that we know. Rod's an excellent football coach, former offensive line coach, so he believes in the physicality of the game and does a great job.
Well, when we caught up with Coach Carey at MAC Media Day a little earlier this year in Detroit, he talked about his Wisconsin connections.
Wisconsin State years, he played in it and coached in it. I coached in it for 7 seasons, 6 years up at Stout. And Lance and I, our paths certainly crossed. Even when he was at Omaha, our paths crossed there through a mutual friend. So known and respected Lance for a long, long time. I'm going to ask him for advice. He's got like 115 wins or something as a head coach. He knows how to do it. And he's working to do it, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. It's an old coaching axiom that really describes it easy. There's no such thing in football standing still. You're either moving forward or you're moving back. So if you're on top, per se, you better stay moving forward, because if you move back, you ain't going to be on top.
Well, in Rod's words, Lance, they are going backwards a little bit this year as opposed to going forwards, which has always been the norm at Northern Illinois. But when you look at the game film and you get your team ready for this game today, what do you see from them?
Well, I think what Rod's referring to, though, is that you can't stay stagnant in your program. And even though they've suffered some injuries, I think internally there's probably things that they have gotten better at and are moving it forward with the group that's available to play right now. But what he's saying is, everybody's trying to catch you as well. well. So what you see with them is they've made a couple quarterback changes as they've kind of progressed through some things. They have found their niche offensively a little bit more. Now they're looking for consistency. They're still a physical group on both the offensive and defensive lines, and very skilled at the receiver, running back, and defensive back positions.
They're on their third quarterback this year. His name is Anthony Matty, a little bit more of a runner than a passer. We've seen your team have to face off with those guys a couple of times this year, and at times those kinds of quarterbacks have given your team trouble. So what do you see from Matty, and what do you see from your defense being able to handle it?
Well, I think he's made, kind of taken a hold of the position, transitioning back there. They've been able to move the pocket with him. He throws probably a little better than we anticipated, but he adds that running dimension, as you mentioned before, about us having to do a great job when they incorporate the extra blocker now at the running back position many times into the blocking scheme to be able to get that extra hat in for us to slow down the running game.
Well, regardless of whether he is or isn't a passing quarterback, he does have the MAC's leading receiver on his team, so he must be pretty good at getting the ball to Kenny Golladay, who leads the MAC in receptions. He's second in receiving yards. He had a big game against your team last year, career-high numbers. What do you see from Golladay, and what's that challenge like?
Very talented player. Probably him and Davis at Western Michigan, probably two premier receivers in the league right now. Very talented in the passing game, but they also incorporate him in times and with fly sweeps and other things. Confident guy who can go up and get it, can run past you. And again, that complete package of what they're using in that offensive scheme becomes a challenge.
Defensively for Northern Illinois, they're among the lower-ranked teams in the MAC. I think there are some reasons for that you'll be able to explain, but they still have some outstanding players, and they still have a couple of great guys in their secondary. So the challenge for your offense, which is starting to find its groove a little bit, what's the challenge this weekend?
Well, we've got to be able to establish that running game again, and I think so teams that have played against them have had some success, and part of that has to do with the injuries that they suffered. You watch some early films, and then you watch games progress. You'll see a guy in a game, and then the next game he's not in. Then he might reappear for part of it. So they're looking for continuity on their defense. We've got to try to exploit some of those things and make it work to our advantage.
All right, so it's the Bulls and the Northern Illinois Huskies in DeKalb, Illinois. Later today, it's a 3:30 kickoff, and then don't forget the Bulls come right back home on a short week on Thursday night to host the Akron Zips here at UB Stadium. We'll talk to Coach a little bit more about that, and you'll hear all about Bulls defensive end Brandon Crawford. That is next, right here on UB Football Insider.
Midweek football returns to UB Stadium on Thursday, October 27th, when the Bulls host MAC rival Akron. Kickoff is at 7:30, but the excitement starts at 4:30 right inside Stampede Square. Don't miss out on the tailgate concert featuring country music star Chris Lane. It's country music, tailgating, and football in your own backyard. For tickets and more information, call 877-UB-THERE or visit ubbulls.com.
Support the new Football Excellence Fund and help build a strong foundation for years to come. Go above and beyond by investing in the future of UB football today. Log on to bullsblueandwhite.com for more information and a list of Football Excellence Fund benefits.
This segment of UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold is brought to you by CEFQ. For all your banking, insurance, and investment needs, visit your local branch or go to cefq.com.
Welcome back to UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold. My name is Paul Peck. Senior Brandon Crawford leads all Bulls defensive linemen in tackles, and he's second on the team in tackles for loss. In this week's CEFQ Player Profile, Brandon talks about his football game and his plans for after football.
I'm Brandon Crawford, senior defensive end on the UB football team. I came in as a linebacker, and at the time they needed me to play defensive tackle, and now I'm finally playing defensive end. I actually love where I'm playing at right now. I was able to cut some weight, so I feel a little better walking around every day. I'm looking forward to just coming out and playing hard every game and get some sacks in the sack column this year.
Down to one, shotgun snap, Holly in the pocket, looks, he's being chased and he's sacked. Brandon Crawford rips him down to the turf.
Being the second year in our system, and I think he's kind of figured out what we want him to do, and I think he's kind of understand that more. And also being a senior year with the clock ticking, I think he's taking on a leadership role and a little more accountability. And to me, being accountable for your actions is probably one of the big reasons for him this year.
I actually want to take my degree and I want to use it to help other kids because I'm into the counseling. I'll have a minor in counseling as well. And I want to take that degree and do motivational speaking and different things at different schools to reach kids who had a life like mine, who lives were not so easy and that they didn't have it easy, but to let them know that no matter what you've been through in your life and the things that you've encountered in your life, don't let that stop you from becoming what you want to become. The biggest influence for me had to be my aunt, her and my uncle, her husband. They're tremendous. The life that I was living and the road that I was going down, man, I wouldn't be in this chair right now without those two people as my backbone. They really were big for me in my life and where I am now.
Handoff, fake the handoff. Driscoll gets hit, and he gets sacked. Ball's loose, picked up at the 10. Unbelievable! And Brandon Crawford runs it in for the Buffalo touchdown.
It was amazing just to be able to get a touchdown without my family being there, and that was the first game they were able to come to in my college career, so it was definitely amazing. We definitely were a younger group last year. To see how much we've all grown since we've been here. Honestly, now I just have to step into that leadership role. I have to try to rally the guys together and get the guys behind me, and moving forward, just try to get them to understand where we're trying to go in this program, get them to try to understand what we need to do as a team to move forward to get to where we want to go and so we can win the MAC championship this season.
Coach, we've had a chance to see Brandon Crawford. This is obviously his fourth and senior year here. I think this is his most impressive season as a defensive end. He's made more explosive plays. He's been involved in more tackles. At times, you wouldn't call his name for a while, but I feel like I'm calling his name a lot more this year.
He's playing extremely hard for us, Paul. I think he's finally settled into the position at a body weight that he's comfortable with in order to play the position effectively. I think prior to our arrival as a staff, it was a three-man front. Then we came in. He was going to play defensive tackle to start. He put on a lot of weight. Then we made him move outside, but he's still heavier. He's cut some weight back down. It's still pound for pound our strongest guy on the team, and I think he's found his niche in playing that strong side end for us.
You play a lot of guys on the defensive line. Any Bulls fan that's watched games this year knows that there's a constant cycling of players in. That's by design, though. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, obviously, you want to keep guys fresh, and there's only so many times that you're going to go, and it's not just during that series, it's for the fourth quarter as well. So, a lot of times if teams are running between 70 and 85 plays, very rarely are they rotating offensive linemen. So that guy's going all those reps. Hopefully our guys are going about half that amount, and hopefully that'll pay dividends in the fourth quarter.
The veterans, the guys like Damone Harris and Chris Ford and Max Parisi, those guys have been very solid. They're generally the ones that are out there starting. And then you get to the next level of some newer guys like Joe Keels and Romaine Douglas and some of the young kids that played last year as freshmen in Charles Harris and Justin Brandon. Give me a sense on where that whole group is and maybe if some of those guys have jumped out at you a little bit this year.
Well, like you're referring to, Paul, it is the deepest position probably on our football team where we have some guys. We've had some others that have been banged up a little bit as well, but thank goodness for that depth that we are continuing to be able to rotate at least 8 players. And you mentioned Chuck Harris, Justin Brandon's underclassmen helping, Joe Keels and Romaine Douglas, the 2 graduate transfers that we really thought would be great additions to our team, not just on the field but off the field with some of their experiences, and it's really turned out to be a great benefit.
Always a challenge with guys like Joe and Romaine because they come in late with only 1 year of experience. Now that you're 6 games into the season, do you feel like they're finally comfortable?
I think so. I think Romaine probably a little bit sooner than Joe. Joe was a real late arrival. Joe missed last season, had to appeal for a 6th year of eligibility, received that, but getting him back, cleared off surgery and some things, maybe took a little longer to get the rust off, really through training camp, but I think he's coming into his own as well as Romaine, and I think their best football is still coming.
Well, thank you, Coach. Good luck later today. Always a big test, and then you got to come right back against Akron on Thursday, so you're going to be busy, but we'll make sure we keep you up to date on all the developments. Remember, you can hear the game today on ESPN 1520, 3:30 start against Northern Illinois, and you can see it on ESPN3. When we come back, we'll take our weekly trip around the MAC. It's UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold, and it's back right after this.
Midweek football returns to UB Stadium on Thursday, October 27th, when the Bulls host MAC rival Akron. Kickoff is at 7:30, but the excitement starts at 4:30 right inside Stampede Square. Don't miss out on the tailgate concert featuring country music star Chris Lane. It's country music, tailgating, and football in your own backyard. For tickets and more information, call 877-UB-THERE or visit ubbulls.com.
Welcome back to UB Football Insider with Lance Leipold. My name is Paul Peck. The Mid-American Conference continues to have one of the best stories in all of college football. Let's take our trip around the MAC. The Western Michigan Broncos continued their unbeaten streak with a convincing 41-0 victory over Akron last weekend. Quarterback Zach Terrell passed for 2 touchdowns, while Jarvion Franklin rushed for 281 yards on 33 carries. The Broncos are now ranked 20th in the country, and they host the Bulls on November 19th. Akron comes to UB Stadium this Thursday for a 7:30 p.m. kickoff against the Bulls. Eastern Michigan quarterback Brogan Roback passed for a career-high 347 yards and 3 scores in the Eagles' 27-20 win on the road against the Ohio Bobcats. With the win, the Eagles moved to 5-2 on the season, 2-1 in the MAC. Eastern Michigan has been on fire of late, winning 3 consecutive road games for the first time since 1967. The Bulls will try to duplicate the Eagles' success when they travel to face the Bobcats on November 3rd. And the Miami Redhawks notched their first win of the season with a huge comeback performance against Kent State. Down 14-12 late in the fourth quarter, quarterback Gus Ragland hit Kenny Young with a 55-yard touchdown pass that put the Redhawks up 18-14 and sealed the victory. The Bulls host Miami on November 12th at UB Stadium in their final home game of the season. Well, we're getting close to the start of the basketball season. It begins on November 4th with a men's and women's doubleheader. But last week was Bulls fans' first chance to see the double defending MAC champions. There was plenty of shooting, plenty of dunking, and plenty of early celebrating, all a part of Bulls madness.
It's so nice when the community can come and see what we've been doing for the last couple weeks, and it's just a neat atmosphere. The crowd is growing, and energy is electrifying, and so I'm excited. They ignite me. I know I'm a little bit crazy, but seeing these fans out here gets me even more pumped up.
We came out, had fun. I think the guys are a good group of guys that like having fun together, and it's good to see Q and Devontae finish the dunk contest up like they did, and then had some fun with the shooting contest and everything, so it'll be a fun year.
There it is from the 200 section.
We was practicing that probably like 30 minutes before we came out. Got the win in the dunk contest, and yeah, it was nice for the first time coming out and seeing the fans and stuff, seeing them like cheer for us and stuff like that. It's just getting me ready for the season.
We're trying to build like more. It's just more than championships, like more of a family and gathering people, like knowing our story and all that stuff. That it's just more than just winning games.
Well, we've been really hard on her for the last couple of weeks because we need her to be a big part of our journey this season. And for her to come out here and win the three-point contest, it kind of like it gives an exclamation point on why we're so hard on her. But that second place person wasn't so bad either. Joe did a pretty good job.
I think we got an athletic team. I think fans got to get a little taste of it tonight, and then hopefully they all come back out on November 4th for the exhibition against Damon.
Much more to come on UB Football Insider, including our Karuba collisions. Stay tuned.
Right wing Hamilton. He shoots a 3. He hits. Oh, yes! Ice water in that man's face.
The Bulls are going dancing from 8th place to history.
From banner raisings to buzzer beaters, don't miss a minute of action. Get your tickets today. Call 877-UB-THERE or visit ubbulls.com.
The university at Buffalo is as much a way as it is a place of seeing the world, of engaging ideas, of inspiring action and taking the lead, with people from all over, working together, lifting each other up and accomplishing amazing things. Here is how.
Support the new Football Excellence Fund and help build a strong foundation for years to come. Go above and beyond by investing in the future of UB football today. Log on to bullsblueandwhite.com for more information and a list of Football Excellence Fund benefits.
Welcome back to UB Football Insider. Last week against Ball State, the Bulls had 3 takeaways in the first half. That's a season high, and it also gives us plenty to work with for this week's Karuba Collisions.
Here are this week's Karuba Collisions.
Quick snap, and the ball is handed off to the running back, Gilbert, and he is engulfed by Charles Harris for a loss on the play. Boy, they went quick snap, but it did not fool the Bulls. First down and 10, fake the handoff. Neal gets hit, he's sacked, ball's loose. It is picked up by the Bulls. At the 50, it's Jared Franklin. At the 40, at the 30, at the 20. It is down inside the 5-yard line. Fourth down and short. He will hand it to Gilbert, the running back. He's hitting the backfield, and the Bulls have stopped him. Big defensive push from Joe Keels, who's celebrating with his teammates on the sidelines, and the Bulls come up with a fourth down stop.
Go to UBBulls.com now to vote for your favorite Karuba Collision of the week.
Well, thanks for watching UB Football Insider. It's the Bulls at Northern Illinois later today, a 3:30 kickoff from DeKalb, Illinois. You can hear it on ESPN 1520, and you can see it on ESPN3. And it's going to be a quick turnaround for the Bulls because they're right back here at UB Stadium this coming Thursday to take on the Akron Zips. Kickoff at 7:30. Chris Lane takes the Stampede Square concert stage at 5:30. Next week, we'll shift gears and start looking ahead to the basketball season. But for the moment, thank you for watching this week's edition of UB Football Insider.